Hello, everybody. It's Sonia here with Fresh Approach Fitness, a wellness company. How are you today? We're a little late in the game. It's August 6th, and it seems like it's been a couple weeks since I've reached out to you, but it hasn't. I just was on here before my mom's birthday, the day before, right? That was the last time you've heard of me. And now it is like a full week later, because I didn't do the episode on Monday like I wanted to. But I have to say, throughout this time away, I am officially a year older. So I turned 48 on July the 28th this year, and it was amazing. It was amazing. And it was the way the day unfolded and the excitement that led up to it, and knowing that I am very happy with exactly where I'm at in my life. So today, I want to share with you some of the things that I've done since then. So since July 28th to now, August 6th, I want to share with you some of the things I've done and how it's made an impact in my life. And you are going to be so excited because it's easy for you to apply the same things at home. So let's settle in, grab your coffee, grab your tea, share some time with me, even if you're just going for a drive. Screenshot where you're at right now and come back to it a little bit later. Not encouraging you to do this while you're driving, but you can circle back to it. So I'm actually sitting here at my kitchen island, and I have a feeling we're going to have to move into a new house soon. We're going to be able to move into a new house soon. And we haven't really talked about this because we love this home. You guys have seen pictures of me in the pool or working with clients outside or doing my training on the deck, or perhaps even sitting on the front patio that Tony made for me. But I've had more and more requests for personal training again, which is phenomenal. I know I can bring this into Zoom, but I definitely like welcoming people into my space. I love hosting. I love sharing the environment that I'm in with people. So, for me, that means I'm inviting them into my inner circle. I am welcoming those people to be a part of my life, whatever that looks like. And I love that feeling. For me, that's all inclusive. That's exposing things like realism, vulnerability, being authentic, a piece of my paradise I want to share with others. So we haven't had this conversation yet, but things just might end up looking different. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. This could just be a trend, or it could be one of the other benefits that COVID has given us. Realizing how important our health is. Realizing how important our life is. And where do you fall into that? Have you stopped and realized how important your health is? Has that thought crossed your mind whatsoever? Think about it for a second. How important is your life right now? How important is it for you to wake up every single day? How important is it to do what you love throughout that day? How important is it for you to be able to get up without aches and pains throughout that day? How does it feel to get up and to be able to afford to meditate because you have a phone and an internet package and a house? How does that feel? Do you want to continue to have that in your life? Do you want that in your life? Think about that. Be grateful for that. Let's start there. And be grateful for the gifts that you have in your life right now at this moment. Before we go too far into today's episode, I want you to pause this recording, set a timer for 5 minutes, and come right back. How does that sound? All right, so your 5 minutes are up, and you've written a few things down. I want you to think for a second about how it feels to be in that space. Now, how much time do you spend appreciating where you're at right now? If you're anything like I used to be, you don't spend much time there, right? Because you're so busy on the go, doing what needs to be done. And you're always ebbing and flowing and bobbing and weaving through the chaos and clutter that has made up and fulfilled your life, that it is hard for you to pause long enough to appreciate every single little thing that is surrounding you. Is that right? Nod your head. Okay, so over the weekend, and here in Ontario, it's a long weekend. So yes, typically by now you've picked up, I'm sure if you've been a long-time listener, that on holiday Mondays, I tend to struggle a little bit more with keeping my consistently weekly routine of getting these podcasts done on the Monday. But I've learned now that as long as it happens throughout the week and it's done and it gets uploaded, it's good. So sometimes we have to make these deals and conditions with ourselves. Sometimes we need to pause and take a look at what we've done and see what is no longer serving us. Where are we no longer seeing the benefits? So let's break this down. Last weekend, I did 2 major accomplishments. Over 3 days, I completed 2 big tasks. If you would, I buried my way through 2 rocks. Now, for some people, there may be like, oh, that wasn't a big deal. For others would be like, wow, like we're all different on the spectrum, right? But we all have learned by now that our abilities and our vision and our impression of what may seem difficult to one person may not seem difficult to another. But the sense of overwhelm that comes with either one of those 2 personalities is the same. Right? So I had 2 main objectives for the weekend. One of them was to create my Creative Collections playbook and set up the month of August. And some of you are like, what is she talking about? Okay, what I'm talking about is going to be put together soon in a book version for you to download and purchase quarterly or annually. Quarterly or probably quarterly is what I'm thinking. Maybe $25, $50 a quarter. Something like that. You can get yourself a new notebook. And it's called your Creative Collections Playbook. And it's a place all in one where you set your goals, your desires, your visions for the month and for the year. You do your affirmations and your gratitudes. You've got your daily button-up schedule, which is kind of like your take-inspired action list for the day. And then you regroup, you review it, and then you set it all into place for the next week. And at the same time, you're tracking your habits through your habit tracker. Okay? You are building your business, and you are taking action on your goals because you've identified your goals. So of the 5 goals and the 5 priorities I had identified for this week, so it took me all day to put this together the other day in the way that I wanted, plus a blank space each day to create and to put my thoughts. I have, in essence, conquered at least 2 things off my list of priorities for the month. My Balanced but Busy but Balanced book got submitted. It's a chapter that I am doing within a collaboration book, and that got submitted. It had a deadline that came over 8 days early, so I had to struggle to get that done, but thanks to some help and some rearranging, I was able to get that done and submitted it to the publisher. Super excited about that. And my 21 Days to a Smiling Reflection event, I did some work on that as well. So those were 2 things that I am literally checking off my list for my goals for August that are done within the first week. How good does that feel? Plus, each day I could identify where I'm at, what needs to be done, carry that activity over so I don't miss anything in my personal and professional life. In the past, we've talked about how many people like to keep their personal and their professional life separate. It's not a benefit to anybody because you are a blend of your personal and your professional life. You are truly bits and pieces of everything that you do and all that surrounds you. That should be shown, displayed, expressed, implemented every single day of your life. Not just during the week when you're at work, not just at home when you're with your family or whatever it looks like, but throughout those moments in between, you should be able to be you, truly you. And this book is saving me time to do that because I don't have to stop and think what needs to be done. That thinking process is completely out of the equation. It is all set up for me based on what I worked on last weekend. So taking the time to set this up, honestly, is like meal prepping on a Sunday. You're planning your week ahead. You're getting everything put together. But this is for the month ahead. So you know those goals that you set in January, February, March? Yep. Those goals right there, you're never going to work on them unless you write them down. You're never going to conquer them unless you focus on them. But I guarantee you one thing. You attract what you track. So if you track it down in any way, shape, or form, you attract it. And that is something to hone in on. So this is an amazing playbook. It's super amazing. I'm very proud of this in the way I got it laid out. But more importantly, I'm more proud of the fact that it is going over. This tool is helping me enhance my life quicker than I had originally anticipated. And you know why? There's no thinking. I've already done the planning. I've already done the meal prep for my life for the week, if that makes sense. Okay. So this is one of the things I did, and I spent most of the day Saturday last week going back and forth working on this because I just could not sit there and get this still and think it through because there's so many different elements that we don't think about. Remember, my intention is to put this together so you guys can purchase this book. It's going to be all put together, documents, everything. So all you have to do is physically buy the hard book and write things out. Take the time to write things out. Daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever it looks like, and do your plan based on your big picture. It's going to be easy for you, but I am working through it as we go through it. So as I'm doing this exercise, as I'm getting everything set up, I look around me and I notice the space. And the space that surrounds me is my home office. Well. I knew for a while I wanted to make some changes to it. With the space that I was sitting in for 10 to 12 hours a day no longer serving me, I had to revisit a few things. I knew this was going to be a plan of action, an area where I wanted to make some changes, but I didn't know where to start. I was overwhelmed with the process of getting started. Here's what I did. I grabbed some boxes in, I created some space, I set the environment, I cranked the music or listened to a book, really distracted myself mentally so I could clear through the clutter. Boxes, papers, bought some tools to help me organize, and I even took a headboard out of the office because in the office there is a bed. There's a double bed in there, fits two people perfectly. It's super cozy. I took the headboard off because that saved me about 2 feet from the office where I can now push the bed in. Now and I took things off the walls and I moved things around the office a little bit. I put all of the books on 1 or 2 bookshelves. That's it, because remember I cleared off the space of the headboard. And for those that may have caught a video on my Celebrate Everything page, on that headboard I was keeping a lot of different things. Smaller books, little knick-knacky things, candles, pictures of the girls, whatever. And when I moved into this room as a office, it used to be Nathan's room, so my stepson's room, and he moved to the basement, so I didn't change the color palette. There's a couple of pictures and things that were in there originally from when it was his room. But it's been over a year now I've been in this space, and I've made some shifts a couple of times, but nothing like this one. My vision boards are all up as close to the ceiling as you can get. I am looking at my vision boards every single day. I added a reading chair and some cozy pillows into that space, got rid of the headboard, pushed the bed a little bit further along the wall, and probably purged 2 or 3 boxes or black garbage bags, just to give you a perspective of things to the Goodwill. Things that no longer serve me, old magazines, old clothes, things I was holding on to, even old books. I couldn't believe I did this, but even old books. Things I had either not looked at or had not looked at in a long period of time that were no longer serving the life I am going to be leading. They may have helped me come to the position where I am today, but if they were a tool, for instance, the 4 agreements will never come off my bookshelf. So if they were a tool that I am using every single day, despite how old it is, I will hold on to it. But if that's not the case, I let it go. And by letting it go, I cleared space. I made room for more. I made room of what else is to come. I made room by clearing the clutter. I was able to make room for more. There's been a major, major difference in my life since that weekend. Because when we clear the clutter, we're creating space for more. We are opening up our minds to mental clarity, and that's the same thing with working on the Creative Collections workbook. We're opening our mind up to how to take action, not to think about what we need to do. How many times have you laid in bed thinking about, oh, I don't know what to do? Where if you got up, took action, you would have had two or three things checked off your list by now, correct? I can't be the only one. But guys, so much happens when you choose to declutter your life. Your space changes. There is something for everything. You have more freedom. The environment you're in will thank you. Your wallet will thank you because you're not purchasing things that you don't. Typically, we go and buy things that we need, although we already have it because we can't find it, right? So your wallet's going to thank you. Your environment's going to thank you. I've had people come into that office saying, wow, what's changed? I added a chair. I removed a headboard. There's that much of a change where you can feel the difference when you walk in. Now, I'm not done changing this space, but I want to share with you by decluttering my surroundings. I've cleaned up my routine. I have made room for mental clarity. I have become creative with my Creative Collections series. All of this because I have decided to clear out more of the clutter in my life. I don't need that clutter confusing me. Clutter has a way of sucking the energy right out of you and replacing it with the feelings of chaos. Clutter is often unrecognized source of stress, a source of stress that prompts feelings of anxiety, frustration, distraction, and even guilt. So do yourself a favor, give your home, your office, your car, your clothes, papers, files, knickknacks, and other stuff that is only taking up space physically in your environment and in your mind, because that's what it is. It's in your mind. You're holding on to those things for a reason. I can tell you what my reason was. I was living in a space of scarcity for the longest time. For the majority of my life, I was living in scarcity. And by living in the space of scarcity, I did not make room to receive what was available to me. I was too worried that I couldn't afford it and I couldn't pay for it again, so I needed to hold on to what I had. Who can relate to that? That's heavy. Think about that for a second. How much are you holding on to just because you don't think you can afford to replace it? You don't think you can go without. It's carried you through a lot of moments. I really want you to think of a couple of things or areas or spaces that you could possibly declutter over the next week. Think of the choices and decisions that come with that exercise. Because once you make a decision, the universe conspires to make it happen. When you release something, you repurpose it, you give it a new home, you give it a new title, you give it to your parents, your children, your grandchildren, the goodwill, it doesn't matter. Once you repurpose something, you are making room for something better to show up in your life. And isn't that what you're looking for? Isn't that why you're showing up today and continuing to listen to this podcast? Maybe you've heard that life is a result of the decisions you've made. So how does that make you feel? How do those things make you feel? Is that true for you? It's important from now on that you are aware of the power that you have over your life by making decisions. So when it comes to clearing up the clutter, go through choices and decisions. Think about that. Remember that you can choose your thoughts and even your feelings. So when you're holding up an object, what is the first thing that comes to mind? First thing, do you need it? Can you use it? Can you give it away? Does it mean anything to you? Choose your thoughts carefully when it comes to associating yourself in your memory with that particular object. Because the universe is change, and our life is what our thoughts make it. So whatever was attracted you to that item at one point, so maybe it was a collection of paperwork that I had held on to from 10 years ago for when I wanted to enter this fitness business or this wellness business, not knowing what to expect. That paper is no longer relevant now. It's just taking up space. The material, the documentation, none of it is relevant right now. Let's be honest, even the marketing from 10 years ago isn't relevant now. I don't need that material. I don't need the magazines I was holding on to do the vision boards. I don't. When I do vision boards now, they're either going to be remotely or they're going to be where people bring in their own pictures, whether we do digital vision boards or not. We can do some amazing digital vision boards, get them printed, and then hang them up on our walls. How amazing would a poster-sized vision board look above your bed, in your bathroom, by your mirror, in your office? Or how about a mini one on your phone? How about that? Every time you look at your home screen, your vision comes into fruition. Every single time you're manifesting what it would look like to be in that space. Amazing, right? You can't do this if your mind and your life is full of clutter. I don't need to hold on to those spare magazines that I was holding on to. I got rid of them. I cleared the space. When it came time to grabbing something out of the closet where I used to house those magazines, when it came time to pulling something out of the closet, it took me seconds to find what I was looking for. Seconds, my friends. That's huge. Because I didn't have to sift around. Oh, where is it? It's here somewhere. Really, I don't know where it is. Think about it. It makes a big, big, big difference in your life. So you are today where your thoughts have brought you. Everything that you have surrounding you right now is because of your thoughts. You will be tomorrow where your thoughts take you. So when we do a lot of our coaching and a lot of our working together, and even when you're listening to these podcasts, you know that I do a lot of work helping you lean towards your future self. What is that future self? What is it that you are trying to create when it comes to your future life? So think about that. Does this clutter, does this piece of inventory, something that is holding on to the sacred space, is it holding you back from going to that next level, from opening up that next stage of your life? I don't know. That's completely up to you. And maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. That's on you. That's not on me. That's not on anybody else. You are the only one can decide if there is something of super importance and you're not ready to do it yet. You will know when you are ready. That's what it boils down to. You will know. 100% you will know when you are ready to make the difference when it comes to your thoughts and the items that you are thinking of decluttering. What do you believe? So what do you believe when it comes to these items? Are they items? Are they things that matter to you? Do you believe they're going to help you grow? What is your belief associated with the particular items that you are thinking of either making room for or clearing space from? That should be the two thoughts, because you know when you say no to something, you are saying yes to something else, which means you're inviting something else into your life, the right thing at the right time, or the right person, or the right client, whatever it is. But you can't do that if you can't see through the clutter. If you can't thrive and be creative in the space that you're in, that'll never show up for you. All right, you ready for a bit more? Get comfortable with changing chaos. Be willing to be uncomfortable. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. It might get tough, but it's a small price to pay for living a dream. And what is your dream? So before you take any action when it comes to decluttering or clearing your space or organizing your week, whatever this looks like, pause for a second and think about what is the dream that you are trying to work on for this week. You know, are you trying to be a mom who is effortless, going from task to tasking, making life seem easy? You're working because you want to and you get to, and it's a personal choice? Or are you just trying to make it through the week with meals every night? Again, everybody falls onto a different threshold on the scale of 1 to 10. It doesn't matter to me where you're at. I'm here to support you every step along the journey. But it makes no difference to me where you fall on that scale of 1 to 10. You need to make some changes so you can bring in what you are manifesting for the future. So here's my favorite quote. I write this down every single day before I start my day job. I am willing to get uncomfortable to see what I am capable of. And then I identify what my goal is for the day. I write it all out on paper. Okay? I write this out every single day. I pause for 30 seconds before work, before I start my day, and take a deep breath in. And I hold it, and I release it out. I let my shoulders relax. And every single day, I grab my colored pen in my paper, write the date at the top in a different color. Then I grabbed a different color pen, and I write down, I am willing to get uncomfortable to see what I am capable of, ... goal. And I write out whatever my goal is for the day. My friends, be willing to get uncomfortable. Be willing to throw something out that you can replace in the future. Might not be tomorrow. If it is broken, if it no longer serves a purpose, if you need it as a reminder for something, whatever it might be, take a picture. Write it in your journal. Write down a list of things that you want to keep and take a picture and maybe email it to yourself that you want to replace one day. Start where you're at and make it a nice, clean, organized living environment. But I'm challenging you here to do something that makes you feel slightly uncomfortable every day. What will you change tomorrow? What will you change? Will it be your daily routine? Your exercise routine? Will you eat healthier? You know, when I'm working with my clients, I like to challenge them on 4 areas of their life. And every single one of my discovery calls and my coaching calls include these 4 questions. Where are you at with your meals, mindset, movement, and what is your relationship with money? Because your relationship with money is going to tell me truly how stressed you are. Your activity or lack thereof is going to tell me exactly how much you are putting on the line right now to help eliminate that stress factor from the money. Or not, right? If you're keeping up a healthy fitness regime and you're not really stressed about money because you believe in abundance and you trust it will come, or maybe you've got a dark cloud covering you today and you're not seeing the opportunities and you can't, it's too hard, you're just going through the day. That's okay too. We're going to have days like that. We are all going to have days like that. You are not alone, my friend. But I know for a fact that you don't want to stay there for long. You don't like it. The more space you create from that spot to the spot where you want to be, the more you're going to want to stay in your new space. So here's what's next. Focus on what you want, not what you lack. It is during our darkest moments that we must focus to see the light. And if you need help seeing the light, change your network, change your social environment, change your friends, and find people to surround yourself with that are like great, big, bright flashlights. That's exactly what you need to surround yourself with, is flashlights. They're going to help you see through these dark days and help you make it through. And your journey will never be the same because you're going to take the things that they taught you and the lessons that you've learned, and you're going to help somebody else by shining your bright light. And that is how you serve others. That is going to help you attract more of what you focus on. We can talk about this in further detail. Definitely, I'm available anytime to help you with this, but this is part of the clutter that you're clearing out. The clutter can be anywhere in your home. It can be at the front door. It could be your bedroom. It could be your home office. It can be your car. It could be your kitchen cupboards. Bottom line, if you do not need it or use it, it's clutter and it needs to go. Think of the abundance mindset, not the scarcity mindset. If you haven't worn it in a year, you probably won't wear it anymore. When you think this will be good one day, or this reminds me of good times, either one of those, take a picture, journal the entry, put it in an old book, whatever it looks like, try that. But without clearing up the space, I'm going to say this again one more time. You cannot make room for what's to come. Clutter is nothing more than postponed decisions. Think about that. Where's clutter cramping your lifestyle right now? Is it preventing you from being a flashlight? Do you really need a drawer full of business cards from 10 years ago? Maybe? Okay. Hire somebody Pay a sister, brother, sibling, friend, child, friend of a friend's child to put them all in an Excel database and give them $100. Done. Done. You just A, cleared out a drawer, B, saved yourself a lot of time, C, given somebody else a paycheck, and taught them new capable skills. That can easily be done. That's not a big project at all. And that can help somebody, especially a teenager, who can easily do this in the middle of the night when they're up and wide awake, feeling like they have no purpose, a project, right? And that's going to help you clear out the clutter. All right. Guys, we've talked about a few things today. We talked about my birthday celebrations. We talked about what's changed since I've turned 48. We've talked about preparing for the week and what that feels like when we actually prepare for the month and take the time to do that. We're not just preparing for the week, but we're preparing for the month. We've also talked about clearing out the clutter in more than one way of our lives. So today, I'm going to call today's edition the flashlight edition. I might call it flashlight edition. Yeah, I think I'll do that. The reason why is because we hit on so many different topics today. I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear your favorite part of today's edition, and stay tuned because we are definitely going to be having another heart-to-heart soon where I am bringing in an amazing guest speaker. Thank you so much for your time today, and really, I want to hear from you. SONYA@freshapproachfitness.ca. We'll talk soon. Have a great, great week.